I always try. Every single time I try to tell everybody, do not be afraid, just be, just exist. Don't change, don't do this, don't do that, don't think you have to be like, act this way for this person. If they don't like you, they don't like you. That's okay, people don't like you. That happens all the time.
Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the Sin Eaters Spotlight. All around the globe, the Sin Eaters of the world, as I like to call them, are working tirelessly to clean up their own respective corners of the internet. Today, I'm talking with the next Minecraft streamer of the year, allegedly, a modern-day Shakespeare in the manga world, and a self-proclaimed anime fan, Eironas Premium.
Hello, that's me.
Yeah, well, I say anime, a self-proclaimed anime fan, because as far as I can tell, been in your streams for a while now, and every single time I talk about anime, you're like, ooh, I haven't watched that one, but I love it.
No, well, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch as much. I read just a lot of manga.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, then I gotta put you to the test, top 3 all time.
Top 3 mangas of all time? We gotta do real one. Actually, okay. I'll go for 1 to 3. Number 1, Gachi Kuta. Number 2, real one. Number 3, probably The Climber.
Ooh, I actually haven't even heard of The Climber. What's that one about?
It's about this dude who basically really got obsessed with climbing, wanted to challenge himself to the next level. So he challenged himself to climb the K2 mountain, the hardest mountain, and he did it solo, no gear, and basically it starts really simple, but it gets super deep throughout the end of the story because the main writer actually left. So it was left to the artist, and the artist just went crazy with it.
Really?
He started going like philosophical. He started breaking down like mental breakdowns, like all this stuff. It was insane.
Oh, that's actually kind of sick. I honestly haven't done a whole lot of reading in the manga space, but I
recommend it.
I know it's the one thing that I haven't done, and I'm like, man, I watch so much anime, but I just don't read the manga, and everyone gets mad at me for it. But
have you ever read a comic?
I mean, I have. Yeah, I have definitely. I read like graphic novels when I was a kid and stuff like that. But I honestly fell out of reading a lot as an adult. I don't know if it's just not a worthy skill to have in today's society. I don't know. I feel like everyone's like, doom scrolling all the time. But I mean, speaking of doom scrolling, you have found a lot of success yourself on social medias and stuff like that.
I am a culprit.
Did you like get into this as a kid? Like, fill me in on what like how'd you get your start? Like, what was like the first thing you kind of got started with on the internet?
The first thing that got me started, so it was probably actually Jacksepticeye. So really? I would come home from school. And
shout out to the goat.
I would just shout out, bro. He's the goat. I would come home from school. I'd be like, damn, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to go back tomorrow. Like, oh, this is just tiring. And then I would launch up YouTube, see Jacksepticeye, and then boom, all worries disappear. I was like, I don't even know how old I was, but I was just watching YouTube like all the time. Then out of nowhere, I think it was with my first ever like Samsung phone. Like I finally had a camera. So I was like, let me just start filming. And I started filming Lego stop motion. Then awesome. I did, what's it called? You know, where you like flip pages and it makes like another type of stop motion. Like you draw characters.
Yeah. The little flip page, the notebook
I did
things.
that. So that was my first ever introduction to making something.
Cool. Dude, I did those as a kid, but I never really thought that like, I guess I didn't realize until I was older that there was a whole community on YouTube of people who just
it was
did
big.
That.
It is really still quite big, to be fair, yeah. A lot of people still keep it up.
Some of the stuff that they come up with is insane, though. Like, I've never
100%.
even imagined that you could have just, like, taken a little tiny notebook and then flipped through it and made something like that. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
So, would you say that was, like, some of the more impactful media when you were a kid, was the YouTube stuff? Or were you a lot of movies, TV shows?
No, to be fair, I actually didn't even watch much TV growing up. I was always, as soon as I had access to YouTube, I was watching it. Mm-hmm. And before that, maybe it would have been like watching kid shows like growing up. But like as soon as I had access to YouTube, straight away just started watching it.
Yeah, I mean the old days of YouTube were incredible for many reasons, but it just felt like such a space for people to just kind of post whatever they wanted, and
it was like the most random stuff ever.
Yeah, it was so wild west of videos and stuff. Yeah, I remember because God, how old would you have been back in like 2016? You would have been.
I would have been 10.
10, yeah. I think I was roughly right around the same age, a little yeah, right around the same age. I remember the first real impactful YouTube video that I ever watched was a Minecraft Let's Play from Stampy. I don't know if you remember that. But
I watched all of them. I was obsessed.
Well, and it's funny because you're talking to yourself, a aspiring Minecraft creator that used to like, that was my whole thing when I was a kid too. So you're living the dream of a lot of young kids out there right now.
100%. Yeah.
You got the whole stream room. I mean, that setup is incredible too. Not to glaze or anything, but I mean, you got
a lot of wasted money, in all honesty. A lot of.
Is it really a waste if you get to look at it every day and you get use out of it?
Yeah, but like look at like the waste, like just looking all around the room.
But it looks so good. You gotta admit that, like, having
there's so much in my closet also.
Is there?
Oh, 100%. I've actually even been interested. As soon as my sister moved out, I wanted to get rid of my bed to separate the place where I stream, the place where I make videos.
Yeah.
But that wasn't allowed. But when I move out, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
If you want to leave school and play video games all day, but your parents don't let you, just say that you want to leave school to get a job, then quit that job and play video games all day. That's what Ernest did. First of all, it's true. Alex said they're going to follow.
I feel like that's every like creator's goal. Once they move out of their parents' house, they get their own space. They get to make it their own for their videos and stuff. But yeah,
exactly.
that's fair. Did you? So I mean, even starting this at a young age, you were making those stop motion videos and the flip note stuff. And so, did you have any like icons or inspirations?
Right away, as soon as I started, Jacksepticeye, of course.
Right.
Always credit DanTDM. DanTDM was the one I first started getting into Minecraft. Damn, there's this one dude. I don't even remember his name. I'm trying to remember his name. But I also used to have I still like it, but I used to have a really big obsession with WWE. And there was this one dude who made like the videos on the games, like the old games, and they were such bad games. But they were really good videos. But yeah, he also.
Okay.
I would say those three were like the main guys.
Interesting. Did you have any like of those moments where you were really gonna like what made you kind of stop those like stop motion projects and things like that? Was it just like a lack of sort of finding the niche support there?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna be a bit of a weird one, but there was this one kid who was bullying the hell out of me. Every time I would show off my stuff in class, I'd be like, guys, look what I made. Look at this. Look, like, for example, it would be like a little Batman figurine fighting like a dinosaur or something. I'd be like, guys, look at it. And then he would just make fun of me so much. And I was like, yeah, all right, frick this guy. I'm not doing it anymore.
The thing is, you don't realize how much that kind of just like sticks with you for a little while, and then at some point you're kind of like, well, why did I even care about what he said? That's 100% all things, but in the moment you're like it shatters you almost. I remember when I just started my YouTube channel, I was making Minecraft videos, and 3 of my best friends had found my Minecraft channel, and they went to the school library and they went to the whiteboard and they wrote subscribe to Green Viper 1 on the whiteboard. And all throughout that class, I had kids walking up to me and they were like, oh my god, do you make YouTube videos? Oh my god, you're such a loser for playing Minecraft. That's crazy. I can't believe you do that. I'm like,
god,
worst nightmare of my entire life. And now I look back on it, I'm like, I can't believe I let those kids think, like, it make me think I was stupid. Yeah, so I guess that kind of leads us into like, why'd you particularly pick up the streaming route as opposed to everything else? That seems to be what you've been majority with, consistent with.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, I'm trying to remember like every detail. In 2017, that was like, I think it was like when I first heard about streaming, like as a fact that I want to do it. I've heard about streams before, but in 2017, that was just before I would say like the Ninja era.
Really?
And then I got into my first ever stream. I believe it was a Minecraft thing. It was like some Bedrock thing. I was trying to stream on my Xbox, but I was streaming on my phone. It was like some super weird thing. I didn't do it ever again. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying. It was like an arty game. It was like a game where you draw with your friends. It was that. Okay. I was streaming on my phone. Then, a couple months later, Fortnite starts rolling around. Start streaming Fortnite just to show off my friends how I'm playing. And I got like one viewer from who was a random dude. And then every once in a while, a new guy would come and I'm like, wait, this is kind of fun. This is kind of fun. Yeah. I was just doing it for fun for a while. And then it was always in the back of my head that I enjoyed doing it. And I kind of committed to it last year. So the commitment came from, I would say majority of the commitment came from me knowing I want to make videos. Like I knew I want to end, like I want to retire being able to say I made videos, right? But in the current age, you can't really do that by just, unless you have a big budget or I have cool ideas or something. I don't really have that. I was like, what can I do? I was like, I can stream. So I got into streaming and I don't think I've regretted it.
It does feel like the more accessible route. It's crazy because I think you and this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I think you trade off a lot of like discoverability for accessibility in streaming, right? On YouTube, there's that algorithm that works for you 24/7, pushing your videos if you're working within the algorithm well. Again, you have to have a big budget or good ideas or just a general like drive to work inhuman hours to put out videos almost every week, which is not sustainable for pretty much any normal person. But like with streaming, you can do 25 or 30 hours a week and not get completely burnt out on that, or even more. I know a lot of people who do, more consistently longer hours, and they still aren't burnt out somehow. But you are really rewarded with like how much are you alive, and how many viewers do you average in that time? If you're not averaging a whole lot of viewers, there's no new discoverability, So
where do I put it? I don't know where to put the firewood. Where's the stove? Oh, is it the thing in the kitchen? Oh, I think it's the thing in the kitchen, chat. Depends on the game. In a million years, I would have never thought I would get scared by a freaking white claw.
A question that I've asked myself a lot is, am I filling a hole in a market or am I pioneering like a new route? With streaming, do you kind of see yourself like just kind of filling that hole in the market and being like basically a copy of Stan's or whatever? Or do you see yourself as like, kind of just pioneering your own route with your own twist on it and like,
Yeah, I get what you said. It's actually funny that you mentioned Stan.
Because I know you do get compared quite a lot with him, So,
but funny enough, today on his stream, he said that he's checked out my streams before and he told me to keep it up.
Really? On stream?
On his stream, it was insane. But with the like,
that's so
at
sick,
first,
dude. Congratulations.
My goal, thank you. But my goal when I first started streaming, it was kind of just like do as much as possible, end up like streaming so many hours, show up for the people that were already there. Because I was lucky to start with the community because I was already doing it for a while. There was at least 10 people who wanted to come in. Then I wasn't making much content outside of it. I was like, okay, I'm really just streaming. The people who keep showing up, I'm lucky for that. But I need to, maybe do something new. I was such a big fan of Stan, as I just said. I've been watching him for now a total of nearly like 3 years. I was like, let me look at the people who I love watching and inspire off of them. I inspired off of him the most. Then I started getting my own little success, and I feel like I've now started going onto my own lane. So it's not just a copy of him. Of course, it's inspired. Like you can clearly tell. But I have started going into my own lane. Of course, with I would say even my content has changed styles, like in a style that people enjoy. So I think at the start, I was just filling in a market. Like people just kind of wanted to see me. They were like, oh, there's another streamer. And now I feel like people are getting into saying like, oh, that's Eironas Premium. He's doing that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I mean, there's a lot of like, I think there was somebody in your stream earlier that had said, God, what do you say? Always got to come through and support the Twitch builders, right? And
oh, Nico,
I think, yeah, it was.
Oh my God, that's funny as well. Yeah, I love Nico.
Is he also a fairly well-known guy?
Yeah,
I didn't realize it, but
he's super well known, and I would say was doing something quite similar to me and Stan. Like all three of us do something quite similar. So both of them recognizing me in the same day was kind of insane.
That is really insane, dude. That is actually really impressive. I mean, it's just, you know, there's a lot of people who are just streaming, right? And there's a lot of people who are, you know, consistent with it. But what a lot of people, I feel like, don't realize, and what you capitalize on really, really well, is the overarching theme of having that big project. And the thing about having the consistency is you can have consistency to get on and play, I don't know, some games of Rocket League or some games of CSGO or something like that, right? Just playing a game and getting on, whatever, that's easy enough for most people. The consistency of staying with a specific topic or a project for what, like this Whoville video specifically, the one that you're currently working on and have been in the process of working on for 4 months now.
It's coming up on 4 months now. Well, the project
Lord.
itself is finished, but the video is still not done.
And the next build is obviously. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to spoil that for anyone in the video that's watching right now. You're just going to hear a huge bleeped out mess. But for the real OGs of Arrows, you know,
yes,
they know already what it's going to be.
I have said it, but now I'm keeping it a secret. Dream on, dream on, dream until your dreams come true. Eironas, can you stop being so loud? Okay, my bad. Dream on, dream on, dream on. Sorry, do y'all like my Toad impression?
Another thing I wanted to ask you about, you know, obviously a lot of negativity in the Minecraft space. There's a lot of people who do some pretty crazy stuff. A lot of drama arises from conflicting personalities and whatnot. And you seem to be, you know, pretty well versed in your interactions with other people. You seem to be pretty embedded in the smaller Twitch community for Minecraft and stuff. You know, have you ever had any struggles kind of dealing with other people, and have they made it hard for you? Have you kind of chose to navigate that? You know, there's a lot of,
in all honesty,
and I want to preface this. There's a lot of people, and the only reason I'm saying this is I'm not looking for juicy drama content. I mostly am posing this for a lot of people that struggle to network, specifically because, you know, maybe they don't feel comfortable being around a person or something, and that person is really well known in a community or something like that. You know, it maybe make it hard for somebody to kind of get into a community and that surrounding edges.
That is fair, yeah. So when it comes to problems with people, I haven't had many, and I feel like that's kind of just like reflective on myself, because I don't really look for anything wrong with people. But there has been a couple people who, like, you know, when they're just a judgy person, like, absolutely. You would get in contact with someone, and like, for example, there's this one Minecraft builder, probably a similar following to me, and every single message it was like, oh, why are you just doing this? Oh, and don't do that, do this. I'm like, okay, like, you may be right, but let's at least sneak it in nicely. Don't just come out of nowhere and be like, yo, you're doing this wrong, wrong. I just ended up no more speaking to him. I was like, yeah, just no more.
Yeah, because I mean, it's at a certain point, it's you know, your mental health on this project, working with this person, or it's you start going insane a little bit. So that's fair enough. But then also I see where you say it is like a game of RNG, a game of chance. You know.
Oh, 100%.
You know, Mark Rober just happened to work well with the YouTube algorithm, and so he really did well.
Yeah, he could have quit his job at NASA and never
he never looked back.
Oh yeah, I need to say something for our TikTok. All right, we need to start getting some piglins for the trading. All right, now that the All right, now that we built the actual farm, we need to get some piglins to trade with them. Fudge, what do I say? All right, now that we built the actual farm, we need to get some big... Guys, yo, see, this is...
We kind of mentioned it earlier. You're working on a manga.
Yes.
We mentioned that you're a manga fan. Is it done?
Yeah.
It's finished?
No. So last year, when I left my job to commit to manga and streaming, this year, I realized I'm not at my goal. I might need to go back to work. Let me take a break on the manga, focus only on streaming. Okay. So I can have right now it's like 90% streaming, 10% personal life. Everything I do is trying to make it. The manga, basically, it's written to a point where I could release 4 volumes right now. Like, I love writing. It's one of my therapies. Like, I think this story, if this first batch is successful, I am ready to commit to a story that has a cool ending, in my opinion. I have a kind of a planned ending. I like knowing where this is all gonna wrap up, but I'm not afraid to change it. But yeah, I took a big break on the manga. I took a small break last year also when I was trying to figure out the art process. Because if I'm sitting here drawing a manga, which I've tried drawing quite a bit, and I wouldn't say I'm the worst artist, but not the best. It's a lot of time. It's like an insane amount of time. Every single line, every single page, every panel could take you days. It's like, I don't have that time to commit right now. So my current plan, hopefully streaming works. Hopefully I can make it on YouTube now that I'm working on these big projects as videos. And maybe then I could start thinking about maybe working with someone else on the manga, maybe having a bit of maybe an artist come in, maybe we work together, something like that.
Yeah.
But I still love the manga. It's one of my, if I was able to tell my kids that I made a book and it was successful, that is my end goal. That's the number one thing.
It would be really sick. Is it at a point where you could kind of give the folks a little teaser about what it's going to be about?
Yeah, 100%. So it's called Beyond the Dome. I'm going to release a volume 0. A volume 0 is a prelude to the main story and kind of a test to see, is my whole content creator promotion strategy going to work?
A pilot of sorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So volume 0 follows Akiro, which is a main character. He's not the main character for the entire story, but he is still involved.
Okay.
He's in the Dome. The Dome is a project made by this very, very evil CEO. I'm not trying to give away too much because the Dome itself has a lot of story to it.
Sure.
But it's a project made by the CEO because he was trying to get his TV ratings to compete with his brother. Oh. And it's basically a dome TV show, cameras everywhere, a very artificial dome, and the people living inside of it don't know that they're living inside of a fake reality. Truman Show-esque.
Okay.
Right? Then ratings start dropping. People get mad bored because watching someone live is so boring. So what do they start doing? They start messing up the people's life in the Dome like crazy. People start. So I think you can kind of see where this goes.
Yeah.
Akiro is the main character. You follow him mainly, but of course you hear about other stories inside of the Dome. But it is not only limited to stories inside of the Dome. There is people outside of the Dome trying to maybe enter, maybe save some people, maybe trying to be the heroes. Maybe.
Okay, all right. So a little cliffhanger there. Yeah. So it seems like you've thought this through. You've got a really good plot for this. It's obviously it's not going to be available for a little while, but it is still something that you've got a dream for and a passion for, and it seems like you've got a good head on your shoulders about it at the very least.
I think my main goal, if it's possible, is make it something people can relate to, but at the same time people can don't be afraid to talk about their friends with something. That is always a goal when I focus on something. I don't want people to talk about it and then they get cringed at. I want it to be good.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that was actually something I was going to talk to you about. I mean, one of my favorite things about, and I mean, pretty new to the world of anime. I've been kind of an anime fan, as I would call it, for the past like 3 years now. But some of the most impactful stuff for me has been those really cheesy moments where the main character is, fully here to live their truth and, be themselves, and no matter what the cost is or who sees them, or like, live themselves, live their truth. And it's inspired, I think, myself not only, but a lot of other people to just kind of be okay with being a little bit cheesy sometimes, or being a little bit
100%,
cringy.
yeah.
And I think your streams actually do that as well too. I think you have a very good base community in that are allowed to be yourself with, and they don't judge you, and you allow them to do the same. And so I'm kind of curious, is that something that you've thought about when you write these sort of this like art form of manga? Do you get to like be a little bit more cringy or cheesy in the way that you write these characters to be a little bit larger than life? Do you think that that's something that you lean into?
Yeah, there is definitely some stuff that I would look at, like I'd be like, oh, that's maybe a bit cringe, but at the same time, it's like if I was in that position, it's how I would react. It may be cringe, it may be a bit like kind of like oh, why did he do that? But at the same time, what else would you do? Like, that is how people react. It's normal. It's human. So yeah, 100%. I always try. Every single time, I try to tell everybody, do not be afraid. Just exist. Don't change. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't think you have to be like act this way for this person. If they don't like you, they don't like you. That's okay. People don't like you. That happens all the time. So, yeah.
100%. Yeah. What was it that was impactful about those older medias that sort of made you want to storytell in that way? Was it that what made you kind of choose that art form in that sense?
To like start writing manga?
Yeah. Because I mean, you could have done novels. You could have done, any sort of different things that you wanted to do.
So I used to make like strip comics all the time. In school, I used to make strip comics, but never as a thing that I was going to be like a person who makes comics. It was never like that. It was more like, if I have a really cool thing that I want to tell to people, it's so much easier just showing them, look at this. So it could have been a stick man. It could have been maybe like just a little blob or something, anything. But it was always really quick to show people instead of just sitting down telling them about this and they can't even imagine it. The reason why I preferred to choose manga over comics was because of my obsession with, it actually started with Gachiakuta. Gachiakuta was a manga that I picked up on a not so legal website out of nowhere. It was like, oh, read this new chapter of this interesting manga. It was like the 4th chapter ever. And It was a really bad translation because there wasn't even English translations yet. And I was like, let me read this. And it wasn't even the story. It wasn't even the art style. It was just like the feeling I got reading, flipping the next page. I was like, oh my God, this is like so fun. And by that time, I did like stuff like One Piece, for example. I was obsessed with One Piece, but I never really was obsessed with the manga. But Gachiakuta, it was like so different. And then when it finally started getting English translations, it started getting its own volumes. I started like buying it, reading it, like buying it, reading it. And I was like, oh, now like I'm still obsessed with it. And every time I do pick up a manga that I get so obsessed with, I'm like, what is so special about it? And I think it truly is just, there's just something special about when you pick something up, like a manga. It's like knowing, for me, it's a bit biased because I now know what the work that goes into it. It's extra special.
Right.
But when I was just a fan, I was like picking it up. I was like, oh my God, like Gachiakuta, like this is an art style that isn't promoted. It's an art style that it would be frowned upon in the manga industry. Right. It's a story that would be kind of looked at like, that doesn't need to be in the mainstream. But they're trying so hard. They're pushing. This creator is promoting with their own money, trying to publish with their own money. It wasn't even published by a publisher.
Wow.
Like that's the thing. It was
really?
They were just getting everything out. And I think it was, for me, it might be the obsession that I got with the first couple of mangas, like the stories of the people. So it's not even like the manga itself. I think it's just the people that make it. I really like the industry.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the coolest people and storytellers I have ever, had the pleasure of gracing my eyes on their story. You know what I mean? Like some of these people, you watch them as these young children. It's crazy to think that the young children of Japan now are going to be the ones that are doing this, in 10, 15 years. But those young children, 10, 15 years ago that were watching like, I don't know, Dragon Ball or, watching like, Initial D or, one of the other Cowboy Bebop or something. So one of those 90s anime classics, are now, turning around, and the same people who are making your One Piece, your Solo Leveling, your Frieren, your all of these, like, and Frieren specifically being a very interesting one, reminds me of like Studio Ghibli kind of storytelling, in that way. It really shows you that anime can be soft and careful at some points. But a lot of these, animes that are kind of bending genres now and in challenging different anime ideals or preconceived notions. I think that's important not only at the anime level, but even more importantly where all the source material comes from at the manga level. So people like you and these indie storytellers that are just inspired
actually,
by that art form.
That's one of the things I've kind of been struggling with. Like, I know about a lot of indie like story makers and like people who like are writing these stories in Japan. And I think one of my main goals would be go to Japan and actually like study it, like actually get in contact, like study this, like learn about like every like.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be really cool.
As much as I'm learning about manga, I don't want to feel like in a personal way that I'm like faking it. Like I don't want to feel like, oh, I just decided to go into manga for money or something, because
or that you're appropriating culture. Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
because I know I'm not. But at the same time, I will sometimes feel like I am, especially if I'm not actually learning and going through what everybody has to go through, So I would love to go to Japan and do that. That would be one of the biggest goals.
That would be really cool. I also think though it's important to remember that like as art begins to be shared globally and in different parts of the world, the thing that makes it interesting about sharing it across the world and seeing how it shifts and morphs through the other cultures, perception of what they think this art form is. You know what I mean? And so I think having gotten into it and gotten your feet wet with it without going to Japan and studying underneath maybe a famous manga artist or some sort of things like that, almost gives you more valuable experience later down the line when you go do that, because now you have the perspective of trying it yourself, having your own thoughts and experiences, and then you go and you can kind of rewrite some of those bad habits that they might think you have or whatever, and because they probably got their own. It's like Italians and cooking, you know what I mean? You never mess with an Italian's recipe, because then they'll just like throw the shoe across the room at you.
100%.
Unfortunately, but well, I really do want to thank you for taking the time to talk with me for a little while and share some of your stories and your experiences, because I think that that's really what gives people the motivation to, do what it is that they want to do. If it weren't for Jacksepticeye, sitting there and talking about some of that stuff behind the camera and sitting there and being ultra transparent, I'm sure you wouldn't be doing this right now. And I'm sure,
probably not.
Maybe if somebody does watch this, they can kind of have that similar experience that you had with your icons and inspirations back in the day. But I do want to thank you for coming out and stopping by and whatnot. If you guys did enjoy the episode, again, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all sorts of good stuff with the YouTube algorithm. I do greatly appreciate it. We will have more episodes coming in the future. The next guest is actually lined up. I'm not going to say anything about it too much right now, but I do appreciate you guys for watching this, and I will catch you guys in the next video.